Hello everyone, this is the second Caesar passage for, is it 21, 22? Well, anyway, it's the second one. So the second paragraph of the work that you're doing while I'm away. Ad haec cognoscenda, to learn these things, literally for these things being learned. Obviously it is plural, therefore that means it has to be a gerundive because it's describing the haec. So, to learn these things, prius quam periculum facet, before he encountered a danger. I don't think that bit's actually in your text to translate, so feel free to ignore that. Arbitratus, having judged that Gaius Volusenus was suitable, having judged Gaius Volusenus to be suitable, he sent before him. He sent him ahead with a warship, cum navi, with a long ship, with a warship. So, to learn these things before he encountered a danger, having judged Gaius Volusenus to be suitable, he sent him ahead with a warship. Huic mandat, he entrusted to this man that having explored everything, we've got an ablative absolute, exploratis omnibus, that with everything with all matters having been explored. So, having explored everything, or he entrusted this man, he ordered him to revertator rather. So for that bit we have it subjunctive because it's an indirect command. He ordered him to return as soon as possible. So he entrusted to this man, he ordered him that having explored everything, he should return as soon as possible. Subjunctive because it's an indirect command. He himself, proficiscitur, he set out into the land of the Morini. He himself proceeded to Morinus with all of his forces, cum omnibus copis. Quod, because from there was the shortest crossing into Britain. Huc naves undique ex finitibus regionibus et quam superiore aestate, we just said anno, I think there, but it means the same thing, ad veneticum bellum fecerat classem jubet convenire. Now, for this bit you need to look right towards the end of your sentence, find your main verb, and it is jubet. Your subject, well, I can't see one, that means it's probably contained within the verb. He ordered naves, so jubet, he orders, but we'll say he ordered ships convenire, to gather, huc here. He ordered ships to gather here, ex finitimus, from the neighbouring regions, and the classem, and the fleet, which he had gathered, which he had assembled, superiore aestate, the previous summer, for the war against the Veneti. So, he ordered ships to gather here from all sides and from neighbouring regions, along with the classem, the fleet, quam, which he had fecerat, which he had assembled, the previous summer, superiore aestate, the previous summer, for the war against the Veneti. Interim considio eos cognito et per mercatores per lato abritanos a comploribus interae cubitatibus ad eum legati veliunt. So, interim, meanwhile, after his plan was discovered, so interim, meanwhile, with eos consilio, with his plan cognito having been learnt, and per lato carried back to the Britons through merchants. So meanwhile, after his plan was discovered and carried back to the Britons through merchants, we've got lots of ablative absolutes there, consilio, cognito, and then the per lato connected to it as well, and carried back to the Britons through merchants. Legati, envoys came to him. So, envoys, we just say envoys, ambassadors or envoys. We would say delegates came to him from a comploribus, from several states, from several kingdoms of the island. So, envoys came to him from several kingdoms of the island. Qui, to promise, so here it's a purpose clause with using the relative pronoun qui, to promise to give their support, and to odtempere, to promise to give their support, and to obtemperare, and to submit to the imperio, to the command, to the orders of the populi Romani. So who promised to give their obsides, to give their support and to submit to the orders of the Roman people. So, you've got that bit with the with all these different bits in the Imperio Popolo Romani Obtemporare. Quibus auditis liberator, having heard which things, policitus, having promised generously, and hortatus, policitus, and indeed hortatus, both of those perfect active participles. So having promised generously and having encouraged them to permanerent, sorry I can't get rid of the red bits above it, and having promised them to remain in that opinion, he remitted eos domum, he sent them home, and this next bit is probably going to be unnecessary for us, bit because we don't actually have that. We don't have that for the bit that we are doing. So actually, I'm going to say let's not worry too much about that. I'm very happy to go through it with you another time, but let's not worry about doing it right now because I haven't actually properly looked through that bit. I'm sure it's brilliant though. Huic imperat, that bit as well, I don't think is in our passage, so you don't need to worry about that bit until we get down here to the Volosenus. Volosenus, having looked through, having inspected all of the regions, perspectis regionibus omnibus, having inspected all of the regions, quantum, as much as there was literally, as much as he was able, quantum e facultatis dare potuit. You may have been given a slightly different sentence for that, but it's going to mean as much as the same thing. Omnibus quantum potuit, as much literally, with all of ease that he was able, we've got here, but it's just as much as he was able. Qui, who did not, this bit I'm afraid isn't there as well, but I'll translate this bit to you as soon as it's part of our sentence. Qui, who did not dare to egredi, to disembark from his ship and to engage with the barbarians. On the 5th day, he revertitur, he came back to Caesar. He returned on the 5th day to Caesar, and he renuntiat, and he told him, quaeque, which things he perspexit, he perspexisset, he had seen there. Very well done, and I will speak to you all soon. Hope you're all having a wonderful time.